Hey guys, so I just got back from seeing Halloween Ends in the theater. I saw it. I didn't. I had to. I mean, I could watch it on Peacock right now, but I was like, I'm gonna see it in the theater. I have to. It's like I'm gonna go support this. It pisses me off that like they're putting this on Peacock at the same time as theaters. Like that's gonna kill the box office. There was barely anybody in. I went and saw it at 3 o'clock, so I don't know how much of an audience this will get, but I'm sure the fucking it being on Peacock, there's some people I saw that didn't even know it was gonna be in theaters. They just thought it was on Peacock. Like, no, it's on both. They're like, oh, um, again, I don't understand why they did that. I understood last year, but I didn't understand this year. But anyways, I've probably said this before in reviews, but I'll say this again if you're new to my reviews. Anybody who knows me, I Halloween is my favorite horror film of all time. It is. I mean, look, I got the fucking. I've ordered this to the theater today. I mean, I got the original poster, the shirt with the original poster. I got it at like Walmart for like $5. Um, and like it's one of my favorite shirts. Like I fucking love the shirt, and I was like, of course I'm wearing it today. I yeah, Halloween is like my favorite horror movie of all time. It's been that since I've been a kid. I like that. It was the movie that really got me into horror movies, and it's still a goddamn classic. I've watched all the Halloween movies, every Halloween, even the good ones, the bad ones. I've seen them all, probably millions of fucking times. So of course, I was excited for this one. As far as like the recent trilogy goes, I did review the first sequel that came out, Halloween 2018. But I didn't get a chance to review Halloween Kills because I wasn't doing reviews back then. If you want to know what my thoughts on that one was, I didn't hate it as bad as a lot of people did. I had a buddy who thought it was the worst one of them all. I was like, really? Did you not see Resurrection? I mean, that's still, in my opinion, the worst sequel of them all is Halloween Resurrection. Um, with other ones, I can name stuff I actually liked about those movies. The ones that a lot of people consider like Halloween Kills. I can name stuff I liked about that. Um, it's not perfect, but it was not the worst one. So of course I was like, okay, this is supposedly gonna be the last one. I gotta go see this. I mean, I've seen this fucking whole franchise from the beginning, and this is my favorite horror movie. So of course I'm gonna go see it, regardless, even if it's. And I've been hearing over like the last 24 hours. I stayed away from like spoilers. I was surprised I did. I did stay away from spoilers, but I was told a lot of mixed reactions. I saw a lot more negative than positive, it seemed. But I was like, I'm going in with an open mind. Like I said, I saw a lot of negatives for Halloween Kills, and I I didn't hate that much as bad as everybody else did. So what did I think about Halloween Ends? Woof. That's all I'm gonna say. Woof. I'll say this. I have a lot to talk about. This is gonna be a long review. um, I didn't hate. I'll say this. I didn't hate it. There are things I really, really did like about it. There are things I didn't like about it. This is definitely not a movie I did not. This is not definitely the movie I expected this to be. And that's a positive and a negative at the same time. I'll get to that in a second. I can see why people are not liking this movie. I absolutely can see. But this is one of those, like, I'm gonna kind of play devil's advocate because I can see both sides. The arguments that are gonna be made as to why they made some of the decisions they did. And I could see it, but there are still some decisions that they made that I definitely wouldn't have made. And I'll get to that in a second. But I did enjoy this movie for what it was. I did have a fun time. I did not regret watching it. Yeah, it was. It's a like I said. I can name positive. I'll say this right now before I get into anything. This is gonna be a hard movie for me to review because in order for me to talk about this movie, I'm gonna have to get into some specifics. So there are gonna be spoilers, and because of that, if you haven't seen it, go watch it now. Go watch it and then come back and watch my review, and then we'll then you can see what I thought of it if you agree it's the same thing. Okay, now that warning has been put before I start talking, I'll talk about the positives first. Jamie Lee Curtis is fucking great again as Laurie Strode. I liked how this movie began with her like finally coming to grips and starting to have a normal life. It was really cool to see this character finally find some peace. As you see in the trailer, some reason Michael Myers has been disappeared for 4 years. The movie takes place 4 years after the last movie. And he just disappeared and hasn't came back, and she just kind of has accepted it, and she's accepted, like, and kind of trying to live a normal life now, and it, with her and her granddaughter Allison, and I like that, and Jamie Lee Curtis, there are multiple times in this movie where she's given lines of dialogue or stuff to say that even if given to the wrong person would come off ridiculous, as I would find out later out for the movie, but she would deliver it and be so fucking awesome. I love Jamie Lee Curtis's fucking movie. She is great. She is what carries this franchise for me. Still has. Like, every time she's in a Halloween movie, she still kicks ass. And she gets a lot of great, satisfactory moments in this fucking movie. This is a character you've grown to really love, and you're like, you want to see good things happen to her. I love the opening scene of this movie. I thought the opening scene was fucking great. Because it's one of those things that plays with your expectations. Because it's a Halloween movie, you expect the opening to have Michael Myers involved in it. But no! It opens with Kid Corey is one of the main characters in this movie. Going to babysit. Takes place a year after the last movie on Halloween night, and he's going to babysit this little fucking brat. There's no other way to put it. And for some horrible, horrible accidents that weren't exactly his fault, the kid ends up killed, and he gets the blame for it. And they do a lot, and the way the kid gets killed has nothing to do with Michael Myers at all. And it plays on your expectations that you think it's Michael Myers is going to pop up, but no, he doesn't. So that was cool. I love that scene. I love the opening. I even love the fact that in this movie, at the opening, they're playing the kid and the babysitter watching the remake of The Thing instead of in the original, like in the original where they were watching the original Thing. I thought that was a funny kind of throwback to the movies. I thought that was funny and clever. Yeah, like I said, I like that movie a lot. I like the opening scene a lot. I thought the kills were pretty intense. There's some kills in this movie. Oh boy, that are fucking brutal, dude. Like, the practical effects are really fucking well done. That particular that one with the DJ is pretty fucking graphic. Holy shit! There's one with a blowtorch that happens off screen that you don't see entirely, but god damn. I mean, there's some pretty graphic fucking death scenes in this movie. They're pretty goddamn something else. Where this movie becomes kind of a problem, but it didn't become too much of a problem for me, is how this movie is not exactly what it's advertised, to say the least. I'll say that. This movie mainly is about the kid, Corey, that you see from the beginning, where he had the accident that, where he accidentally, something happened where the kid that he was babysitting died, and he got the blame for it. And it's basically about the aftermath and how he's been treated for the last few years. Since Michael Myers left and this happened, he has become basically the new Michael Myers. He's become ostracized from the town, and they consider, even though he got cleared and is roaming the streets, he's basically been ostracized by this town, and it becomes fucking kind of comical with this fucking town. This town is fucking ridiculous. Some of the citizens are just fucking ridiculous, but it does play into what the last movie established, which was, you know, this town and how they affect the Michael Myers, all the stuff that Michael Myers has done to this town is starting to get to everybody, and how it creates this horrible mob mentality, and what the mob mentality can do. That it will end up being a bad effect for the town in itself. And that becomes like what the movie is mainly about, and that is this Corey kid who, through all, you kind of understand why this kid goes for the shit, why he ends up becoming what he becomes in the movie, which is basically a new version of Michael Myers. Spoiler alert. Because these town or people are just dicks to, I mean, hell, they're even dicks to Laurie Strode. I mean, there's a scene where, you know that scene in the last one where the husband and the black woman, the woman and her black husband get killed brutally by Michael Myers, and it ends with Michael Myers stabbing her in the throat. She survived. Yeah, I don't know how the fuck that happened, but she can't talk. But her daughter or something ostracizes fucking Laurie Strode. I'm like, dude, knock it the fuck off, people. Like, calm the fuck down. Like, you were neighbors with her. You didn't care. Like, oh, fuck off. Just fuck off, people. Like, there's, like, you almost sympathize with the dude. Like, these people are just awful for, like, really no other reason just to be awful. And it's like, it gets really fucking annoying a little bit. There also is a relationship that forms with the Corey kid and Allison. And I'll say this about the Corey kid. I thought he was fine. I didn't think he was that bad. And he was not like... But I kind of sympathize with him because of, like, enough that, like, which I don't think I was supposed to, because of how fucking awful this town is. I don't know. But it does, like I said, all this stuff ties in. I can understand why they focused on this, because it all kind of ties everything together, what this trilogy was doing, which was talking about, you know, not just about Michael Myers, but, you know, the effects that he had on this town and stuff like that. It all ties it up kind of nicely, especially with the story of this kid. The one thing I will say that I didn't buy too much was the relationship between Corey and Allison. That seemed to really just kind of escalate really fucking quickly, because they meet and then they become a couple pretty much almost instantly. And it's like, there's some red flags with this dude pretty fucking quick. Like, and you're like, yeah, I don't know. And like, it seems like her motivations kind of come out of nowhere. Am I the only one who, like, her kind of reaction to things, especially with her grandmother and the way she treats her grandmother towards the end, kind of feel like they come out of really left field? I mean, I don't know. Am I the only one? I don't know. But I didn't think they had that great chemistry in the fucking movie. I wasn't being sold on that relationship one fucking bit. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really digging it. And they also had some really hokey, awful dialogue between the two of them. That was just like, God, groan-worthy. But all those things talking about, there is only one thing about this movie that is kind of did piss me off. And that is something you should notice pretty quickly when we talking about this review, and I did this on purpose. You probably are thinking, well, you're talking about Halloween ends, but you're barely talking about Michael Myers. You might have noticed that. There's a fucking reason for that. Michael Myers is an afterthought in this movie. I am not making that up. What? Like, who made that decision and why the fuck did they make it? Now, first off, I will say this. The way they introduce him into this movie, I actually did like. Because it made it almost realistic. Because in this movie, this is 4 years after the last movie. He's been living in a sewer, basically. How is he still alive? I don't fucking know. It's kind of very vague how he's still alive. But he just disappeared, and basically he's almost like a decrepit old man when he meet him. And I was like, you know what? That's the first time this franchise did something actually almost realistic. He's 60 years old. He's at this point 60 years old in this franchise. So he should be barely able to move and having a hard time, like, being the old Michael Myers. Sure, I'm fine with that. And he basically becomes a protege to this Corey kid. I'm not making that up. One fucking bit. And so, because of that, the movie mainly focuses on this Corey kid, and Michael Myers is an afterthought. What the fuck? And what you see in the trailers and in the commercials where he and Laurie are fighting, that is the majority he is in this movie. That's the most he is in this movie. Like, he literally is in maybe like 20 minutes of this movie. And that might be kind. Now, you could say, well, I could see the argument. Well, what they were going for was like, talking about the effects that Michael Myers has had on this town, because of that, this town's ostracized this kid and stuff. That's fine. But how did this movie advertise itself? Tell me, how did this movie advertise itself? It's being advertised as the final showdown, the final movie of the Laurie Strode and Michael Myers saga. And Michael Myers is barely in it. Only in the last 20 minutes. It's like the last 20 minutes was like felt like they were just tacked on for no goddamn reason. That final fight scene felt so tacked on that, like, it felt like the filmmakers were whoever wrote this script wrote it and went, oh shit, we don't have barely any Michael Myers in it. And this is a movie that's supposed to be the end of Laurie Strode. Okay, we gotta have them fucking fight now. It literally comes out of nowhere. Nowhere! It has barely any setup when Michael Myers and Laurie Strode finally fight. I don't know why the fuck they did that. Like, what the hell were they thinking? Like, that is a really big problem with this movie. Like, the best way I think of is, like, this movie maybe should have not been a Halloween movie. If they did, this could have been its own fucking thing, but I don't know. It's really weird. But I will say this, another positive. This movie has a satisfying payoff. Fucking goddamn it, I love the payoff to this movie. And for sure, by the end of this movie, this is the end of this franchise. There's no fucking doubt about it. Well, this iteration of the franchise is definitely over. I'm sure they'll reboot it. They'll ignore this movie eventually, and these movies ever happen. They'll do something else. I'm not saying that this franchise, they'll never make another Halloween movie, but this version of this iteration of Halloween is done. Done. Finito. Gone. Whatever. In a very satisfactory way. It got me at the end of the movie, like, God damn it, that was cool. Like, they ended with a fucking great fucking final showdown between. It is awesome when him and Laurie Strode finally fight. It is fucking awesome and satisfactory. So But then at the same time, I was leaving almost happy and satisfactory. Then I sat there and thought about, well, wait a minute. Most of this movie didn't even focus on Michael Myers, so that still is a problem. I'm like, yeah. Like I said, I do like this movie. And I give this movie credit. They did something I did not expect, and it was kind of fucking unpredictable because of that. So I give it points on that. But there's still decisions that I really question about why the fuck they made that. Yeah, it's a weird fucking recommendation, but it's not perfect. It isn't. I'm not saying it's a great movie. I'm not saying it's one of the better ones. Definitely isn't. But, and this is not definitely how I would have made a end to the franchise. I don't think this is really the greatest way to end a franchise, but I have seen worse. I have seen so much Anybody who tries to fucking tell me that this is one of the worst movies of the year, you motherfuckers didn't watch Jeepers Creepers Reborn. This is not even close. This is a fucking masterpiece compared to Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Alright. 21 minutes. Holy shit, the longest review I've done in a while. Wow. I'm losing my voice now. I've been talking about this fucking movie for like the past 2 hours. Even before I fucking recorded this video, I've been talking about this movie a lot. Yeah. Recommend it. Go check it out. Let me know in the comments what you thought of it. Maybe I'm crazy. I'm trying to be playing devil's advocate with this movie, kind of, really. That's basically what I'm trying to do. I'm kind of seeing both sides. I see both sides on this argument about this movie. I just enjoyed it for what it was. I'm not saying it's perfect, but whatever. So I will be having a review sometime, probably this weekend, for Prey. And next weekend is Black Adam and Ticket to Paradise. And until then, I'll talk to you guys later.